this is Mr. Wise. Today we're going to be doing the Bubble Lab. These are the materials that you need. You're going to need a small container. I found in my kitchen just a little small Tupperware container. Here's one that's a little bit bigger. You can use a cup, whatever it is that you can find. Just try to find the smallest container that you have. I have a ruler. I have a straw and some scissors. And then I have just a little bit bigger container that I have the water in it that I'm going to use for the lab. And I've got some soap. And I've got a sponge. All right, so the first procedure, we're going to go ahead and cut the straw just to about 1/3 the length of the straw. And then I'm not using this one, so I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to go ahead and fill this up about halfway with water. I actually have a line on my container, and I want to fill that up to that line every time. Procedures that we do the same, that we repeat in each time we do the experiment, is called a control variable or a constant. And we keep things the same so that we expect to get similar results. Filling that up to the same amount of water each time would be the same results, or a constant control variable. So now what I want to do is I want to add 4 drops of soap. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to take my extra straw and I'm just going to gently stir that soap into the solution to make my soap solution. Okay? Now I'm ready to begin collecting my data for the first trial. And so what I want to do is take my sponge, which I had dipped it in some soapy water to begin with, just to make sure that I got a soapy surface where I'm going to be pouring this out. And right in the middle of that, I want to pour out just a little bit of soap solution to make a circle the size of a quarter. Just like that. It'll disperse a little bit, that's okay. I'm going to take my straw and I'm going to try to blow a bubble. Alrighty, now I'm going to take my roller, and when the bubble pops, it leaves a soap ring. And I'm going to measure this using centimeters. In that bubble, I got, it looks like I got 20 centimeters. So 20 centimeters. I'm going to record the size of that bubble down as trial 1 for 4 drops. I'm going to take my sponge, wipe the area down, and repeat that procedure. Pour it out just a quarter-sized hole, and again, blow a bubble. Again, I'm going to measure the soap ring, and it looks like that time I got 21 centimeters. And then I would repeat that a 3rd time. So now I'm just going to jump ahead, assuming that I did that 3 times. I'm going to take my soap solution and I'm going to pour that out. And once again, I'm going to fill this up halfway. And now I'm going to do 8 drops of soap. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, I'm just going to gently stir it. I have this wiped down already. So now what I want to do is I want to pour out a quarter-size hole. Once again, same amount of soap, quarter-size area is that control variable again, and I'm going to blow a bubble. And then you want to measure the soap ring that you get from that. You want to repeat it with 8 drops of soap 3 times. And then wipe it all down, pour out your soap solution, fill it back up, and this time use 12 drops of soap solution. Now, there's a couple terms that I used in the directions here, and one of those was a controlled variable or a constant. There's actually 3 types of variables. There's the independent variable, dependent variable, and controlled variable. The independent variable is what I, as the scientist, change every time I repeat the experiment. Now, doing trials is not necessarily repeating the experiment, but when I repeat the experiment with a different setup. In this case, I had 3 different setups, and your challenge is to determine what was it that I did differently, or when you do it, what did you do differently each time you repeated the experiment. Second, we have the dependent variable. The dependent variable is what we are trying to determine. D for determine. And we determine that with our measurements. So at the conclusion of the experiment, we're going to take some kind of measurement, and that measurement is leading us to what it is that we're trying to discover or determine about the experiment. And then third, we have the controlled or variable or the constant variable. And the constant variables are things that we keep the same. And we keep them the same so that we have the same procedures. Had I used a different type of surface, or used a different brand of soap, or used more of the soap solution instead of just the quarter size circle that I had poured out, any one of those things could have changed it. And in their own right, they could be an experiment worthy of study, but we want to keep things the same so that we know that one thing that we're changing is what it is that we're comparing.